I would rather have an unelectable candidate who wins the presidency than an electable candidate who loses, like Mitt Romney and Bob Dole and John McCain. But I'll go a step further. I would rather have a candidate who delineates the essence of the battle and loses than a candidate who is Obama the second, only a GOP behind his name. Are you following me? Let me make the point. We are in a generational battle for this country's soul. Whether or not babies will be butchered, how marriage will be defined. Is the government our savior and our provider? What will education curriculum look like? What will America's foreign policy be based on? Our military desires or the human rights of other nations? These questions form the essence of the battle in which we are entrenched. But most of the campaigns in my lifetime, not all, but most, involving candidates like Bob Dole and Clinton, or McCain and Obama, or Mitt Romney and Obama, most of the campaigns in my lifetime, there was no clear difference. They agreed on the essence of most of what was at stake. When President Reagan ran, he talked about the evil empire, Russia. He talked about America's role as the city on the hill. As he talked about our duty to stop Russian expansionism. He talked about prayer in school. He talked about the right to life of unborn babies. He drew clear lines in the sand, and then he fought for what he believed in. And in 1976, when he challenged then President Gerald Ford in the Republican primary, what happened to Reagan? He lost. He lost. But then he ran again in '80, and he won. I would rather have a candidate that fights for what is true and just and prevails, and loses to maybe prevail the next time around, so that at least what is at stake is articulated and defended, than to have more of this lesser of two evils nonsense. Remember, people, the lesser of two evils is still evil. Let's play a clip from Senator Paul's speech.
It isn't so much what President Obama has done, although he's done a lot, none, very little good. But it's not that what he's done with his usurpations of power as much as it is the precedent that it sets for lawlessness that may follow. If the executive branch can initiate war, if the executive branch can detain citizens without trial, if it can amend legislation, if it can declare to Congress that Congress is in recess, then government, unrestrained by law, becomes nothing short of tyranny.
What a great history and political philosophy lesson. Just boiled right down. Tyranny. It's tyranny. What President Obama is doing is tyranny. It's like a dictatorship. And I believe that if Rand Paul or Rubio or Cruz got elected as the next president, that they would not resort to being a conservative dictator. Because on some levels, and I'm not trying to use highly overcharged words, but when you consider the fact that Obama summarily said, we're not going to enforce the law with DOMA. We're going to change the legislation that we wanted in the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare. When you see Obama saying, I've got my pen, I've got my phone, and I'm going to do what I want, that's the stuff of tyranny. And should Mr. Paul or somebody of his political ideological cloth be elected, I don't think that they're going to be a pro-family, pro-constitution dictator. I think that because they fear God and because they love liberty, specifically thinking about Rand Paul, I think that he will actually take his oath of office to uphold the Constitution seriously. Wouldn't that be fun to have somebody in the White House who actually took the Constitution seriously? Wake up, Randall. This is a dream. This is the voice of resistance, but I'm dreaming.